Overstated, a coast-to-coast roast of the 50 states. He's also got an HBO Max and HBO Max special to talk about. He is none other than Colin Quinn. How you been, sir?
Hey, what's going on?
How's it going? What's going on in the world?
Good.
Everything good?
What's that?
You're hanging in there? Tip-top shape?
Not good, but yeah.
I know. Well, we were talking earlier about MTV and just remembering you from that. How old were you when you popped on MTV on remote control?
28.
28.
I was a very old 28. Oh. I was a worn down 28.
You're a worn down 28.
Yes.
Did you know what you were involved with on that show, Remote Control, when you were doing it? Did you sense it? Did you know that you were a part of something huge, pop culture, Colin?
Yeah, well, at first we did it, and me and Ken was the other guy. We were like comedians, so we were like, oh, my God, this show, what is this nonsense? And then we started doing it, and we're like, it is fun. They let us do whatever we wanted. The guys, the producers, which was Mike Dugan, Joe DeVoe, they were so fun. We were part of this whole crowd of people that hung out together. There was not a lot of we just all hung out and they just let you do whatever you wanted because they didn't care. They're like, yeah, do whatever you want on the show. And then we didn't know how popular it was, so we went to spring break that year. And then so we shot it in December. It was on for January, February. We're in New York, it's cold, and we don't really know. And then we go down to spring break, and thousands of kids start chanting every little line from the show, and just even the commercials, they would imitate me doing the commercial, and we were like, wow, this is big,
Yeah. And you kind of looked at each other and go, where this is, you had no idea.
Yeah, we had no idea it was that big.
Huh. And do you still stay in touch with Ken or no? You're long gone.
No, he passed away about 8 years ago.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Funny guy, but I kept in touch with him until then, yeah.
Oh, no kidding. So is that how? So basically, is that how you were discovered, Colin? Is that how you would say? That's how that happened on MTV?
Yeah, that was definitely the first thing. Yeah.
Okay. And then eventually, as we all know, SNL knocked on your door. We're talking about how you got the gig of the newsreader, if you will. That
was
update. So you got the gig when Norm got the gate, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was awkward.
But you went on and you did your job. You crushed it. So
yeah, it was
Go for it. Sorry, you were about to say.
Oh no, go ahead. So what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, what was your favorite, moment from when you were on the weekend update, Colin?
Bill Murray came on once, and he just did. He just kind of free formed his thing, And I go, because I'm from that generation where I was like, I'm sitting next to Bill Murray, and he's being irreverent Bill Murray. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of like a real moment for me where I was like, whew,
And then, obviously Bill Murray being part of the history of Saturday Night Live had something to do with that too. Tell me about this book, Overstated, a coast-to-coast roast of the 50 states. Available now where all books are sold. How did you concoct the idea, and what people should know about it, Colin?
Well, obviously I'm going over each state and kind of, attacking them, but in a loving way, I think. And, it's, the country's so, there's so much, disunity right now that I feel like this book is sort of like just trying to look at each state. And, for your show, there's a lot of interesting things I'd like to talk to you about.
Go for it.
With my book. Namely, why do you think only certain states love college basketball more than college football? So I'm talking about North Carolina, Kentucky, Indiana. Those are the ones I can think of offhand that are college basketball, and there's no reason for it.
Do you
ever think about that?
Do you have a theory at all, Colin?
Well, for Kentucky and North Carolina, I feel like it's because they're those Appalachian kind of guys that are kind of tall and raw-boned. So I think early on they were just more into that. And Indiana, there's no way they should be into it, except it's the opposite of what they do all day. They work in farms, so they just all day is the opposite of like a hardwood court. They're outdoors in nature. But I guess I wouldn't explain why. Most states are football.
I would agree,
especially southern states.
No.
And Indiana, it's just Yeah.
No, there's no doubt about that. That's an interesting. Those are. What other states could we even say that for?
Yeah, I mean, and usually be like, oh, yeah.
Well, I guess the fact that North Carolina's also had Michael Jordan. So you'll never, basically one of the greatest athletes in the history of the world.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
But it was before that.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Well, no. There's definitely before that. It's just like obviously now these days. We've got 4 states, if you don't mind, that I'd love to that are represented here in this studio. If you want to go and tell me a little something from the book, or either off the top of your head about what you observed or whatever roast you want to put.
Sure.
Okay, Colin Quinn here on the Rich Eisen Show. We'll start with my guy from Maine across the way. Chris Brockman represents the state of Maine. Do you have anything from the state of Maine?
Well, yeah, Maine is the New England of New England. You know what I mean? Like the way New England looks at everybody else, like shame on you. Just keep that's how Maine looks at the rest of New England. They're the ones, like every section of the country has one state that is more them than they are. And that's what Maine is,
Like that's very
Would you
fair,
agree?
actually, yeah.
That's more New England than New England
That's
is.
very fair.
And they were very poor because only 4 people could afford lobster until like 1950. So even though they had lobster, nobody cared.
It's a problem for the economy. That's a local economy issue. All right. Next up, my buddy T.J. Jefferson is from the great state of Pennsylvania. What did you learn about the Keystone State, Colin?
Oh well, Pennsylvania is like that's where the entire country. That's like our whole country is Pennsylvania. Is based on this thing, and you're either a Philly personality, you're either like the east part of Pennsylvania or the cradle of quarterbacks, So like Philly is basketball and Pittsburgh is football.
Right.
And it sets up a whole dynamic where you see it really represents the entire country in a way, because that conflict could embody our entire nation. Right
So
now,
where do you put that? I mean, because I know you break the book into sections. Pennsylvania might fall through the cracks right here. New England, Mid-Atlantic, the South, the Midwest, Southwest, West, the Pacific Coast, and then the 2 states you call the country's foster children. Who is that?
Hawaii and Alaska. Yeah. But here's the other thing about Pennsylvania, by the way,
right?
Is because Pittsburgh, like the fans are obsessed with the Steelers. Like whenever I've been to Pittsburgh over the years, it's 1975. I would go on stage, little kids and old ladies reading Steelers Digest. By the way, and when you're in town, they read Steelers, and you make a joke about like I don't know, like Mel Blount or like John Dockery, and the whole crowd, even the little kids, are like ha ha ha. They literally teach it like religion. All the 70s, they know the Steelers backwards and forwards. There's Mike Webster jokes. There's nowhere else you can do this kind of stuff.
That's right. You got to know your audience. All right, my buddy Mike Del Tufo's Jersey. I think the last 2 are going to be up your alley. New Jersey. What do you got for me on that, Colin?
Oh well, New Jersey. I mean, just the fact that we dump our garbage. That they're basically we dump our garbage there. That set the relationship off. You know what I mean? That they have the low self-esteem when we go, hey, man, could you throw this out for me? And we're like, yeah. They go, yeah, okay, thanks. All right, thanks, New Jersey. That's how it says it all.
Okay, very good. And then the we is the last one. I'm from Staten Island, New York, Colin. So New York, what is that's the we in that equation when you say that, right?
Yeah, well, but except Staten Island's not the... Staten Island, as you know, is its own city-state. Oh. It always has been. I mean, Staten Island, they don't even have like a town hall. They have like a social club set up instead of a town hall. The rule.
Oh my gosh. So the social club aspect of it, are you talking about the guy who once got shot outside a Spark Steakhouse? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, if he was the only guy, that would be a different story.
That's right.
But in the old days, the mob. What I say about New York is, in the old days, before if you wanted to put up a high rise, you had to go to a luncheonette and talk to a guy from the Genovese family in Lower Manhattan for the cement, and then. If you wanted building permits, you had to go to a car service in Staten Island, talk to a guy from the Gambinos. Plumbers, you had to go to a candy store in Brooklyn. You had to go to like 5 different stores to talk to somebody. Air rights, you had to go to a, quote, zoning board. at a pizza parlor in Queens. And now it's a whole different city.
Oh, my God. Colin Quinn here on the Rich Eisen Show. And interestingly enough, your HBO Max special, you just shot it at a repurposed drive-in in Brooklyn. Is that what you did?
Well, yeah, they opened a drive-in in Greenpoint because of Corona. I guess it was like it was a warehouse and a bunch of places there. And it was just, we get there, and they're like, well, we'll rent it to you to shoot a special. And I was like, oh, that's great. And we go there. It's got views of the city from like a $50 million movie. So it's this drive-in special with me and most of my dirtbag comedian friends. And it was nice if none of us should dress up for it, by the way. And the backdrop, it looks like, you want to hear like George Gershwin playing in the background.
No kidding.
It's so beautiful. And we spend the whole time insulting each other and basically performing for cars. So you don't even hear laughs because they're cars. They just flash their lights and honk their horns when they think something's funny.
No kidding.
There's no laughs in the whole special.
It's called Summer of 2020, a drive-in comedy special. Who are the dirtbag comedian friends of yours that you're referring to?
Well, you're talking about Bobby Kelly, Keith Robinson, Marina Franklin, Rachel Feinstein, Rich Voss and Bonnie McFarlane, Sam J., Chris DiStefano, Dan Soder, and me.
Soder. I love Soder. By the way, Soder's probably out of his mind because his Denver Nuggets are actually performing so well in the playoffs right now. We should get Dan on the show on that front.
Oh, God, yeah. He's obsessed with his stupid Denver teams. You're right.
That's right. He's probably going crazy. Hey, Colin, thanks for the call, man. Congrats on the book. Congrats on the special. And then you got Hubie Halloween coming up on Netflix in just a couple of weeks. So you got that going on.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
October
All right,
7th.
Thanks, Rich.
You take care, Colin. You got it. That's I am Colin Quinn on both Twitter and Instagram right here on the show. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.